with the big story here, I'm Seher Zama. The Madras High Court today has ordered the NTA, which is the National Testing Agency, to submit the thumb impressions of all students. And this is 4,250 students who were admitted to various MBBS courses this year in Tamil Nadu after clearing the NEET exam. And to submit these thumbprints to the CBCID, which is investigating the NEET scam. The court ordered for the profiles of all the MBBS students admitted in the academic year 2019-2020 to be re-verified and asked the state to submit a report on what steps should be taken to ensure that NEET exams will be conducted in a fair manner. This case has now further been adjourned till the 24th of October. So far, 9 people, which includes 4 students that have been arrested in this case, where impersonators were hired to take the NEET exam for students in Tamil Nadu. We have with us our correspondent Pramod getting us those inputs here. Pramod, this is of course with respect to what has been ordered, instructed by the High Court to the NTA, to the state government here. But it is also further throwing light on how this has been entirely messed up. If NEET was made compulsory and been given to understand that this is that one exam which is about exemplary qualification, this exposes the entire system, which needs to be revisited, the circumstances under which NEET exams are taken by students.
It absolutely is, and the shocking part is that what we've predicted has come true right now. Pretty big revelations, pretty big observations were given by the Madras High Court, and very clearly they criticized the centre and state, exactly asking the same question, that whatever the reason NEET was brought for, like removing corruption from medical examination, that essence has been lost. Imagine if the student comes forward and says that if he could pay 20 lakh rupees and he could get the seat, someone else writes the examination for him, and that way he could garner the seat. That is a huge corruption, and that's the reason Madras High Court even went ahead and added CBI as a party, claiming that there is definitely a possibility for this scam to spread across various states. In fact, in the first student who was arrested in this case, the actual CBCID had to go to Maharashtra, and in another case, trying to nab one of the middlemen, they had to go to Karnataka. So that's the reason CBI has also been added as a party to this case. And not just that, now Madras High Court is questioning when the students who had to write the NEET examination had to go through so much test checkings, like they had their bodies were checked, their shirts, pants, even hair was checked. How come you did not go ahead and cross-verify their face? All these questions are also being put forward by Madras High Court right now.
Yes, but Pramod, this sounds like a mammoth exercise now to revisit the candidates who took the exams and are now studying, having got through. This is 4,250 students' thumb impressions that now need to be submitted. Is this further adding stress to the students after already having gone through that rigorous procedure of verifying their identities? Are they going to be impacted by this instruction by the High Court?
Well, CBCID is going to definitely have a difficult time with them because they do not have a huge amount of resource like Tamil Nadu police and such, and CBCID's power is actually vested within Tamil Nadu state alone. Probably if they get support from CBI and various other organizations, including forensic department, definitely they can analyze these fingerprints within a month of a maximum of 6 months. But for now, the governments have to take the decision. NTA had to comply to the order, and they have to first send the records. All those things are supposed to go. But Madras High Court has said it very clearly that they are taking a firm stance that they will not allow corruption inside NEET examination. Not just that, they have also sought a report from the centre and state authorities seeking what steps can be taken right now to make sure that such scams do not continue in NEET examination.
Right. Stay with us, Pramod. We're getting in more voices. In fact, it's important to hear from students and affected parents here on this. We have Ms. Sudha Shinoy. She's a counsellor for medical students, has also spoken on behalf of students and parents here. Appreciate you being with us, ma'am. In your view, your understanding of what we're seeing, the kind of scrutiny, the investigation into this scam here, and what it means for students, for medical aspirants who would be sitting for the exam next. Are you saying that this is acceptable because this is teething procedure. This is only the initial stages in which NEET has been made compulsory even for the state of Tamil Nadu now. So this could further be rectified.
Can be, because when you're filling up the NEET forms, you're asked to give the thumbprint and the signature of the candidate as well as the photograph. So while giving the NEET exam also, you're taken. I mean, your thumbprint is again taken. So does it match or not needs to be verified. I think it's a very good move if both the NEET form as well as the NEET exam codes are matched. So the person who is sitting in the exam is the same person who's applying for it.
Right. And you don't think that adds any further stress to the student who's sitting for the exam here?
It remains the same. There is no additional process for the student. In fact, the government has to just scrub both the datas together. There's nothing more for the candidate. There is no harassment. I don't think so.
Okay. Stay on with us, please. Senior journalist Mr. R. Rajagopalan with us over the phone line here as well. Thank you for being with us, sir. In what has been instructed by the Madras High Court, to what extent is this doable, and this needs to be done only to bring a reform in the process that has been followed to make NEET foolproof? That was the intention, but the scam, in fact, has only exposed how shoddy the system has been.
NEET is a problematic issue in Tamil Nadu, but the state government, Mr. Vijay Bhaskar, the health minister himself, suggested this digitalized process of getting everything into this type of digitalization. Digitization of your own thumb impression is a welcome sign. And we welcome the government decision and also the High Court's decision.
Okay, no, but this is about going back to those candidates who are now already studying in various different colleges after having passed the exam. This is about a question of getting the thumb impressions of 4,000 to 4,000 plus students here. Once again, you think that is going to be a Herculean task?
No, it is going to be a Herculean task for this year. For the next year, there will be a regularization, because as the student herself said just now, as you apply, you have to give the thumb impression. Once that process is over, it is useful that there is no impersonation during the exam time. That is the reason why Madras High Court has directed the state government as well as central government. And it is a welcome decision. Tamil Nadu government welcomes it. Tamil Nadu government suggested this.
Our correspondent Pramod, who's been getting us further details. Yeah, Pramod, this is also a time here to be asking those questions both to the state government and the NTA for having sitting silent through this entire scrutiny and ever since the scam broke out on what was not done, the manner in which NEET should have been conducted. If there was so much checking of students at the examination center, now you have an argument that face recognition should have been done as well.
It definitely is, because imagine after doing all those tests, in fact we've seen how when NEET students had to go to write NEET examination, if they were wearing full sleeves, their shirts were cut actually, and if women were wearing plaits or something like that, their hairs were removed and they had to go with open hair. All those things they had to go. Even nose rings were removed, nose rings, earrings, metal objects were not allowed, even in the belt buckle. So that kind of atrocity they had gone over. Even after that, imagine this kind of situation occurs. But many analysts from this state of Tamil Nadu claim that facial recognition definitely seems to be a very important aspect which could be added. But however, the problem is that the issue of impersonation occurred after the examination. There is no problem in people writing the examination. The person has written the examination with fake credentials, but finishing which this could have at least been cross-checked in the colleges. There it could have been averted, and that's the reason even CBCID team has already initiated about cross-checking of candidate lists with various colleges. In fact, they claim that they are suspicious about 19 more people, which includes students, their relatives and middlemen. But still, as it's being investigated, they don't want to reveal any more information on the matter.
Right. Also, Pramod, have they been given in how much time that this can be done? Of course, the next hearing is later in the month, 24th of October. How much time the agencies have been given for this task?
Well, for now, the Tamil Nadu government and central government have been asked to file a report as to how they are going to remove such kind of corruption from NEET examination. At the same time, CBCID has also been asked to provide a detailed report as to how far the investigation has come forward. But it seems like even the court knows that there is a possibility, a definite possibility for this scam to spread across multiple states, being NEET a national exam. So that's the reason they have also included the CBI as a party of it, which means that the investigation is going to prolong, and probably if CBI also decides to involve, much more serious and shocking revelations can be brought out.
Okay, we're getting in more voices. We have Prince Gajendra Babu, education activist, with us on the phone line. Thank you for being with us, sir. Your view in how these investigations are going ahead, and that instruction now that is coming from the Madras High Court that to ensure that there is reform well in time till the next set of NEET exams are taken. We would require the thumb impression of all those students who've already passed through the exam.
See, if you are really bothered about the quality of a medical education, you cannot depend upon the technology. However, better use the technology by face identification, biometric, etc., etc. Those who want to indulge in wrong activities, they will also be using the same technology. So you cannot win or you cannot ensure quality medical education or quality health care by introducing advanced technology or relying upon technology. The best way is to provide equitable access to education to all children in the school. And at the end of the higher secondary course, based on the board exam marks, you should ensure admission. Because Tamil Nadu was conducting medical admission based on the higher secondary marks for many years, and there was no problem at all. The higher secondary exams are without any issue in Tamil Nadu. No. So that is the only solution we have. With NEET, you cannot have a quality doctor, you cannot have a better...
But Mr. Gajendra, we have gone past that. Yes, we remember the protests that took place across Tamil Nadu by students against NEET, but it has now been made compulsory across the country. This is an all India NEET exam that needs to be taken by all students, by all aspiring medical students here. Is that the only solution at hand? Because if we're looking ahead in making this easy, foolproof, tamper-proof for our young students, we should be now looking ahead and what's going to work on how NEET can be conducted without such instances of cheating, copying, impersonation that we've seen, without the scale of a scam.
The government is not coming forward to ensure a quality, equitable access to education for all. It itself is against Article 14 of the Constitution, which is right to equality. NEET is a market concept where without going to the coaching centers, you cannot come here. At least they spend 2 to 3 years after higher secondary to get medical admission with NEET. So who will be able to spend 2 to 3 years? Which category of students?
All right, Mr. Gajendra, we got your point. Sudha Shenoy, would you like to add to that? Are we today at this point still going to be discussing whether or not NEET is good for students, or we need to discuss to make NEET a foolproof system?
About how to make NEET a foolproof system, because NEET is a good strategy, one nation, one exam, and it's a very right exam. I feel there is nothing to be discussed about NEET as such. But how to make it foolproof, how to remove the corruption is to be discussed and implemented. I feel there should be measures to remove corruption from it.
Pramod, the reason we were looking at a scam at this level here. Okay, in fact, before I go to you, Pramod, let's also get in yet another expert voice here. We have former IMA President Dr. K.K. Agarwal with us over the phone line. Dr. Agarwal, thank you for being with us. With respect to your view on yet another development here on this, with the Madras High Court now asking for fingerprint data of all those 4,000 plus students who've already taken the exam and studying now already in different colleges. Dr. Agarwal, is my voice going through, please? Okay, we're going to be reconnecting with him on that. Our correspondent Pramod with further inputs here in having tracked this case right from the start here. Pramod, NEET was something which was seen as unacceptable right from the start. We had seen those protests saying that this won't fare well with young students here in Tamil Nadu, but a decision has been taken now that NEET is compulsory all over India. There are no exceptions. The reason why looking at a scam at this level, there is still no acceptance that this is a promise, this is a process that students will need to go through. You can no longer continue to be functioning in having impersonators taking these exams.
Well, only the anger has risen in the state of Tamil Nadu because when NEET was introduced, the actual slogan that was provided, the actual tagline was that it will remove corruption from medical examination and NEET is foolproof. In fact, that's the reason even after going through all those checkings and like students have to separately go ahead and go through coaching centers and such, they paid a lot and went ahead and wrote the examination. And imagine after that they come to know that if a person is able to pay an amount of 20 lakh rupees, he can get a seat because someone else is going to write the examination. And that is like definitely not acceptable by the medical aspirants who actually are now questioning the system because not 1, 2, but 4 students have been arrested so far. And imagine CBI claiming that they have suspicion over, CBCID claiming that they have suspicion over 19 more people. This is from the state of Tamil Nadu alone. Imagine if you take the entire nation, what kind of corruption is occurring inside NEET. All those things definitely have to be investigated as well. But CBCID can only do it inside the state. And even then, that particular team with very less manpower were able to nab 4 people in past 1 month alone.
Miss Sudha Shenoy, we're looking at this as a very difficult time, a difficult patch that the process of NEET here is going through. But with this ongoing process at the end of the day, when you have all the culprits being nabbed, or even if there is a sense that this is perhaps going beyond the state of Tamil Nadu, there could be more states involved here in this as well. Will that give us some answers that this is a process that needs to be revisited? The next set of NEET exams cannot be taken as they were earlier, with the earlier guidelines.
I would like to elaborate here. This is not only about NEET. This used to happen even before NEET. And even now, the moment, NEET forms are coming out, there are students already getting calls from some agencies that do not bother about everything. We will manage your scores and all. But we do not have any agency where we can report. We are reporting to the local DMEs, but they are not the authorities to take any call on it. So we do not know when such calls come or some agencies call up, where do we report about it? And I'm sure there are a lot of it. Last 4 or 5 years, I myself have got so many messages from parents and students that they have got calls from so-and-so agency. What should be done? So it is not about NEET. It is about the corruption which has been happening for several years.
Dr. K.K. Agarwal, former IMA president with us on the phone line. Dr. Agarwal, in your view, this being the strongest indicator that the guidelines, the circumstances, the conditions under which NEET is taken needs to be revisited by the NTA and the respective state governments.
So the idea is very clear. We need a foolproof system. Any type of a Munna Bhai MBBS cannot be allowed. Whether they use a fingerprint, whether they use eye checkup or eye scan, it has to be a foolproof system because it's a question of somebody's life. Because there's a very high level of competition, any type of a corruption cannot be accepted. Number one, and any corruption should be fully investigated in the past also.
Mr. K.K. Agarwal, do you think now facial recognition is that one final stop, that final measure here, which will make this foolproof?
Either finger recognition or the facial recognition. Both of them now are available even in every iPhone. It's not a difficult technology which cannot be done.
Dr. Agarwal, stay on with us, please, because it's important to go through the rigorous process that the students have already gone through. Pramod, on how this is going to be further stressful, or does digital technology reduce that? Because you have already stated here at a time when NEET was being taken by students, on the checking that they had to undergo at the examination centers. Does digital technology of fingerprinting and facial recognition then resolve this matter?
Well, more than going through any kind of checking or this kind of like parameters or biometric checking, the problem with students right now is that for the past 3 years, they are struggling with the syllabus itself, because in the state of Tamil Nadu, 80% study under state board, and the syllabus that is being followed for NEET is CBSE, which means they have to go for separate coaching classes, and they have that pressure already on their mind. And imagine the actual promise that was provided to them, claiming that they should go through this pressure because they are going through an examination which is foolproof. You like, no, there is no 0% corruption. And now if the students come to know that there is corruption inside the system and that has not yet been eradicated, imagine the kind of like a lack of trust they would acquire in the system. But still, many students have no other option, because only NEET is the way they can pursue their medical aspiration. For that reason alone, many of the students who want to, they would at least believe, at least from now onwards, the system would be cleared. But it doesn't look like that way, because until now, only CBCID is the one that is handling the case, after which it has to be taken by the Tamil Nadu government and made sure that various departments also get involved, that no middlemen work. All those steps must be taken soon, but we don't see any sign of it until now.
Okay, and this is the time when students are already filling up form for the next session of the NEET exams there. Let's get in Mr. Padam Narayan, educationist, with us over the phone line. Mr. Narayan, thank you for being with us. In your view, what should be the next step, or the assurance that needs to come in from the NTA or the state government that this is something which will not be repeated? If NEET was pushed with the incentive that this will be foolproof, that hasn't happened.
Yes. See, from this year onwards, when NEET entrance and eligibility test is done, the two issues should be addressed by the testing agency. One is to plug all the loopholes and make it as objective as possible. One. Second is they have to bring down the amount of pressure that is on the student candidates. Because, you know, the last few years, what you have seen in Tamil Nadu, students go through a lot of pressure, especially, you know, frisking, checking, cutting if they are wearing a full-length shirt and all that, the shirts are cut and all that, even though they are giving precautions and they are giving sufficient instructions. But still, some students come, and then especially ladies, they come with dupatta, they come with earrings and all that is removed. So it puts considerable pressure. So that is something that they have to address. And other than that, they have to plug all the loopholes and possible things, especially where students from one state, prefer a center outside the state. As far as possible, they should try to accommodate the student within the state so that such malpractices can be curtailed.
Yes. Mr. Narayan, would the system of biometrics and facial recognition, something which was mentioned by the Madras High Court today as well, would that reduce the pressure? Because this is, as you said, added avoidable pressure on students, on someone whose focus should be entirely only on the exam that he's sitting for.
No, see, not only NEET, we also have been conducting CAT examination. We have been conducting entrance examinations for IITs and JEEs and all that. So we have considerable experience, and we don't know whether such malpractices happen there, whether we are using biometrics, whether we are using facial, recognition and other entrance examination. It should be something which should be uniform, should be something sensible. It should not appear excessive. Just because there are some people who are cheating the system, it should not put pressure on the majority of the people who may be genuinely preparing and aspiring for it. So it should not put, it should not deter and put.
Yes, that is the unfortunate fallout of this scam here, that it is adding pressure to even innocent students. Stay with us, please. Mr. Narayanan Tirupati of the BJP with us on the phone line. Thank you for being with us. In your view, the assurance that should now come in by the NTA and the state government that this would be resolved. We're already heading towards the next NEET exams that need to be taken, and the scam has thrown up a whole lot of questions on how this has not been foolproof as promised.
No, see, this is a crime done by a few people, which we should take note of. And definitely, it should be a foolproof system. There is no doubt at all. But crimes do happen, and we need to control it. And I think the government will definitely take this into mention, and they will do it. But it has to be very strongly condemned. There is no doubt at all. Impersonation is very bad. And I don't think the system has to be
strongly condemned, and reforms that need to be taken faster, which haven't been indicated by the government so far. The NTA has been sitting silent on this scam here as well. The expectations here being that this is a system that needs to be fixed faster. This needs to be fixed till the next exams of NEET that would be taken in the following months here. There should be no innocent student who should be suffering by others who've in fact been part of this crime of having impersonators sit for NEET. Thank you for being with us.